Om. Om. Om Sri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Sri Saraswatye Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Lokashankaram Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurun Brahmavidvaram Sadgurun Brahmavidvaram Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha Om Sri Tapovana Sishyaya Namaha Hari Om. Now let us do the Shanti Patha for Chandogya Upanishad. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotra Madho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirak Kuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastva Nirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmaha Temai Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay. We are doing Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 6. We have completed 14 sections. Last week, I have not highlighted a particular part of section 14, which I like to further highlight today before we go into section 15. So, very briefly in section 14, there was a story that a person is blindfolded and the hands tied behind. He was taken by thieves and left in the middle of a forest in Gandhara Desha. Then the person, now he cannot see, he doesn't know where he is, plus he cannot help himself, his hands are tied also. So he will shout, looking at different directions. Help me, help me, help me. My hands are tied up, my eyes are blindfolded. Please help me, please help me, please help me. He shouts in different directions. Then a passerby stops and then removes his blindfold and also unties his hands and tell him where you ask him where you want to go. He says, I want to go to Kandahar. So he says, okay, this is the direction you have to go. And then the person goes. While going, he will have some doubts. So everywhere he will ask people, am I going the right direction or not? And finally, he reaches the destination. This is the story. And the story is particular in the Chandogya Upanishad, as you know, different illustrations are given to make a point. The question here is, do we need a guru for self-realization? Okay, that's the question is being answered here. The person in this context is us, but living in the body, mind, intellect complex. Our blindfold is nothing but our ignorance. Because we are caught up in the body, mind, and intellect complex of the forest, we shout, we're constantly searching for happiness and keep on complaining, we keep on looking, we keep on expectations and disappointments. Whole life is a mess and constant disappointments, expectations, disappointments. Get something and then forget about it. And then you keep expecting happiness in objects, people, and situations. That's what is shouting in their various directions. Then a kind and compassionate person, just like in the story, a passerby stops. When our punya karma reaches maturity and when we are ready, we listen. Does not mean Guru is not coming. We see Gurus all over. Some reason or the other, we do not pay attention. So here, the person is ready to listen to a Guru. After suffering with the fear and anxieties, distractions, depressions, is ready to receive the teaching. That is the Guru, compassionate Guru, passerby in the story. He explains to you, you are not this body, you are not this mind, you are not this intellect. You actually, you are Atman, you are the Brahman, infinite peace. Present now, you are that. And then he started sadhana. As you're walking along towards the goal, he also keeps repeating questions, asking, confirming, and he reaches his goal. So that's the story of us. Here, at the end of this section, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. This is a very, very famous sentence. I did not highlight this enough in the last class, so I want to take some time here. Only the person who has Guru will learn, realize. It is not possible from the books, from the internet, or from YouTube. You might learn certain facts. You might be intellectually grasp certain information, no doubt. That remains at the brain level only. It does not transform into realization. Because Shrotriya Brahmanista, a person who knows the scriptures and also who revels in it, has to communicate it. That you are that. And that is not in the future, it's now. And unwaveringly he has to do this. Because our mind complicates it. It's not all the time. He should not change his mind for petty gains, to impress the Shishyas. He should not change. He should continue to say this unwaveringly, you are that infiniteness. Then tasya tavadeva charam yavat na vimokshe adha sampatsya iti. This also I have to explain further. For that person who is now has received the teaching and realized it, tavadeva chiram yavat vimokshe. Until the body drops, and then he realizes, he joins sampatsya. He is, in other words, during the teaching and during the sadhana, he realizes I am that infinite awareness now. Infinite, causeless, ever present, happy being now. That continues, but the body has a prarabdha. But your jnana has already taken place. So you are now living amidst the world peacefully, untouched by it. Bhagavad Gita Padma Patra Mivam Bhasa. This example is given. Just like a lotus leaf in water does not get wet by the water. In the same way, a realized person lives with knowledge that he is not this body, mind, and intellect. Until that point, person has thought he is like part space. I am the space in the pot. But he was never, the space was never part space. It was only a mental conditioning. The pot has space in it. But space is all pervading. Within space, only the pot is there. In the same way, the person who has thought his body, mind, and intellect are the realities. But outside is different from inside. This kind of this objective conditioning disappears. Finiteness drops. See, when you say infinite, then you imagine something different. No, no, that way it will get confused. Much easier way to say infiniteness that you have in you drops. Wherever you are, you feel fullness. Whenever you feel fullness. Nothing can make you happier. So when the prarabdha karma of the body exhausts, because it's like an arrow shot, so it will continue. But you are not touched by the movement of the arrow anymore. You are like anybody else, you grow older, you suffer, and you pass and you die. So next section that will further explain the death of a jnani versus ajnani is explained. But before I go to that, Acharyavan Purusho Veda is a golden sentence in this Upanishad. Just like Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asit is a very golden sentence. Vacharambhanam Vikaro Namadheya. The world is nothing more than names and forms. It is a golden sentence. There are some classic sentences are there in this Upanishad. Tattvamasi is a Mahavakya. It is a teaching your eternal identity with your infinite presence and being. Acharyavan Purusho Veda is another famous Tasya Tavadeva Charam Yavat Na Vimokshe. Until that point he passes, he remains. Physically. That is not. So these four. Okay. Now, Guru, definition of Guru itself actually says, Gukaraha cha andhakarastu. Rukarastat nirodhakaha. Gukarascha andhakarastu. Rukarastat nirodhakaha. Andhakara vinashitvat guru rityabhithiyate. This is the definition of a guru. What? Gu means darkness. Blindfolded. Rukarastu, rukaraha tat nirodhakaha. Ru means remover of that darkness. This is a definition of Guru. Andhakara vinasitva. Because he removes the darkness, Guru rityabhithiyate. He is called Guru. Guru means the remover of darkness in our life. Here, darkness means ignorance, blindfolded in the story. So, what happens? I have mentioned the last. When during the day the sun is there, the stars are still there, but they don't have any clear presence experienced by us. In the same way, when you have that freedom, when you have that clarity, the thoughts rise in you, objects rise in you. You are not objects, you are not thoughts, you are not the body, you are not breaking the awareness into you and it. Like in deep sleep, but away with clarity in your heart. With eyes open, you know, but you are also see as though you are pervading without any connection to the limitations. That's in the mind. So Krishna, it's basically, there are two ways to look at the world. One way is you run after the world. Other way is that the world come to you. You stay relaxed. You are not touched by it, but the world is still shining. But it passes through you. And you're still living the same world. It's very, very important to understand this concept. I will tell you this Bhagavan Krishna talks this. Prakrutyeva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvasah yah pasyati tadhatmanam akartaram sapashyati. 13th chapter, 30th verse. Prakrutyeva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvasah yah pasyati tadhatmanam akartaram saha pashyati. You and I and the realized person see the same world. But the realized person says, it is passes. The body passes. The breathing process passes. What comes today goes tomorrow. The happiness is actually in the true self. So he says, Prakriti means the world is doing its job as though. Senses are seeing. Smelling is happening. Tasting is happening. But you are not. So you let them come through you, go through you, but you don't go there for happiness seeking. So it is possible. You just be a witness. Just let the world go through you. That's what he's saying. Prakutyeva karmani kremanani sarvasya. All the movements are taking place in Prakriti. Prakriti means nature. In your consciousness. What that moves in your consciousness is Prakriti. You are the witness of that. So you let it pass through you, but you don't react. Yapasyati tadhatmanam. The person who sees that way, akartaram sapashyati. He sees that oneness, infinite being. Yapasyati tadhatmanam. Atma means that infinite being. Asamanta tanoti iti atma, the definition. That which pervades everything. Untouched by anything. The only way you can pervade everything is if you don't, you become subtle. I mentioned this in the previous class also here. So, Prakutyeva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvasya. Those people who complain, they complain. Those people who relax. Everything the same world we see. So, what is the limit? The limit is you don't run towards them. Let them pass through you. Then you grow, you become infinite. Like space, untouched. The contrary to it is the person who goes after them. You don't let pass through you, but you run after them. It's a very crucial difference. Actual chapter number 3, verse number 37, verse number 27. Bhagavan Krishna talks about this. He says, Prakrutehe kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. The flow of the universe is just going. Prarabdha karma, everybody is living their prarabdha karma. That is Prakriti. Nature's way of exhausting your life and the world around you. So, Prakritehe kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasya. By the qualities of the Prakriti, the world is moving. All the activities are happening. Ahankara vimudhatma, the person with the egoistic mentality, he says, I am doing it. They are doing it. And then complaining, conflicts. Kartahamiti manyate, because he thinks he is doing, or she is doing, or he is doing, or my boss is doing. What he has to do, they do. What you have to do, you just don't run after it, let it pass through you, but you can act without being affected by it. When you become affected, ahankara means ego has popped up. Then that creates friction, that creates unhappiness, that creates jiva, individualized being. Now, we go to section. So basically, Acharyavan Purusha Veda, number 1. Number 2, you live in this body unaffected until the body drops. These two I did not explain enough. I took some time to explain those. That way you know how to live with that knowledge. Okay. Now we go to next mantra, section 15. Before we go to section 15, I will also give a little bit of introduction to section 15. Bhagavan Shankaracharya's very brief commentary in the introduction to section 15, I will read, then I will explain. He says, Acharyavan Vidwan Yena Kramena Sat Sampadyate Tam Kramam Drishtantena Bhuyaha Eva Ma Bhagavan Vijnapaitu Iti. Sat Sampadyate, so he is asking with an example how the person who has realized attains that Sat when he passes. Is it any different from a person who has not self-realized? That process explained to me with an example. Tadha Soumya. Okay, I will tell you. So the student as though asked a question. So section number 15, the question is, now we live after realization until the body drops. That one we understand how he lives. But when we die, then a difference between a realized person versus unrealized person. There is a difference while alive. While alive, you don't go after world goes through you, and you are not affected by it. But during the time of death, is there a difference? That's the question. So let us now do section number 16. Sorry, 15. This is 15 section. Okay, good. So this is an example of a person who is dying. Both examples, one is alive, one is not realized, another is not realized. Okay. Purusham Saumya Uta Upatapinam Jnatayaha Paryupasate Janasimam iti Tasya yavan Vang Manasi Sampadyate Manaha Prane Pranaha Tejasi Tejaha Parashyam Devatayam Tavat Janati. I will repeat first mantra again. Purusham Somya Uto Upatapinam Jnatayaha Paryupasate Janasimam iti Tasya yavat na Vak Manasi Sampadyate Manaha Prane Pranaha Tejasi Tejaha Parasyam Devatayam Tavat Janati. Okay. Okay. Now let's do number 2 also, which is shown here. Atha yada asya vang manasi sampadyate manaha prane pranaha tejasi tejaha parasyam devatayam adha na janati. Adha yada asya vang manasi sampadyate manaha prane pranaha tejasi tejaha parasyam devatayam adha na janati. So number 3 also will do. Very good, very good. Sa esha anima aitadatmamidam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi svetaketo iti bhuya eva ma bhagavan vijnapaitu iti tadha soumya hovacha. Sa esho anima aitadatmamidam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi svetaketo iti bhuya eva ma bhagavan vijnapaitu iti tadha soumya iti hovacha. Okay, so let us now I will explain. The answer basically is that death is no different. What is death? Physical representation of life. Like organs of action and mind, and then prana, which activates that, and then heat, body heat. When the body heat goes, everybody dies because this material, physical world. But Jnani really also lives the same way, but he is not reborn because he already became infinite. Once he became infinite, finitude is gone. Whereas ignorant person, because he still have tendencies, still desires, still dependent upon the world of objects and emotions, he will come back. He will become unmanifest. In the past, I have mentioned consciousness is not a part or product or property of the body. It is not. It is actually exists before it is born, body, and it remains after body drops also. And because of consciousness only, it is able to operate. Just like because of electricity only, light is able to glow. The same way, because of consciousness only, I'm able to talk, I'm able to hear, I'm going to listen. I'm going to hear, I'm going to see, I'm going to touch and smell. So it is just like a light. Consciousness, even though I cannot, my eyes are aging, my sense of smelling is aging, my hearing is also aging, but consciousness is still the same. The electricity is still the same. So because we are thinking we are this limited, such kind of questions arise. That clarity is I am that infinite presence and aware being. The separation I and this is only mental, and which disappears when the mind is not there. And this clarity, when you have, you are dead even alive. That's what Bhagavan Shankaracharya's Bhashya will very clearly explain. So, but let me first explain the chapter, the mantra. Purusham Saumya Uta Upatapinam. I'm going to the mantra now. Hey Saumya, a dear son, a dear one. Saumya means dear one, a gentle one actually. Purusham Upatapinam, a person who is on dying bed. Jnataya paryupasate. The Jnataya means relatives and friends, you can say. Pari upasate. They keep serving him. And they also ask the question, Janasimam, Janasimam. They ask, do you know me? Do you know me? Because that is how the people are interested to know if this fellow is alert or not. Sometimes, obviously, they look at it and then they shake their head or make some signs with the smiling or by eyes. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they speak. Sometimes they lose that speech also. Tasya yavat na vag manasi sampadyate. He is able to talk if the gross speech organ has not withdrawn itself into the mind. The speech organ has become decapitated, disabled, then he can make some signals with the mind but not speak. Tasya yavat manaha prane na sampadyate. Until the time when the mind has not withdrawn into prana. He can say a few things. He can think about certain things and make some gestures. Similarly, until prana has not gone back into heating, hot, what we call his fire principle, warmth in the body. Tejaha parasyam devatayam tavat janati. And the last step is even the fire principle, the warmth in the body, has also left back into the consciousness. Parasyam. Until that point, he knows. Basically, he's saying there are, as in the beginning in the Upanishad, we learned what? From the infinite Sadeva Saumya, that awareness consciousness principle, first came fire principle. From there, again, within the consciousness, don't forget that, within consciousness, appearance of fire principle came. That grassified further, it has converted into up. Up means water, which corresponds to speech. We learned that the finest part of up, water, becomes speech. And then first came fire, and the next came water, and next came annam, prithvi, grass body. So depth also goes in the reverse direction. First, the grass body's functions like speech and manas, they go. And annam makes the manas. Sukshma part of annam makes manas. And grass body function is speech. So speech and annam are both speech in the sense of physical equipment, karma part of it is made of matter, along with the mind, which is subtle part of the matter. So first speech drops into the mind, then mind goes into the prana, up. Finest part of water is called prana. We have learned it in the past. And then prana means breathing in the dying process. Then prana also goes back into the warmth of the body. Last step. Then body also becomes cold. It becomes joined into the infinite. Because it came back in this order, it goes back in this order. It makes sense. From the subtlest, grossest expressions take place. So until physical body and mind are working, speech and mind are functioning. The mind also drops, it goes into prana. You are breathing heavily, but not talking and not communicating. And then it drops into it also stops. Breathing also stops. Then body is still there, heat is still there. But people are trying to revive. Until it becomes cold, then they give up. Exactly. That is how the process goes. So even though you are alive, even though you are jnani, and everybody goes back into the self. So there is no difference how a jnani lives versus how a ajnani lives. There is no difference. Because sato sadeva saumya damagra. Sat alone is the eventual abode where everything merges. So the same thing happens now when you realize, as I said earlier, you are the pure being, unconditioned. That's it. That awareness. When you live with that awareness, thinking everything is happening, but you are not the doer. But the moment you go after it, you become the doer. Then you get caught up in it. You have no control how things are going in this world, except for ego. And that it binds, then creates friction. Everybody is passing. So, some of these points, Shankara. So, second sloka, second mantra also. In the second mantra, he repeats when the second mantra, when Vak has merged into mind, mind has merged into prana, prana has merged into tejas, tejaha parasyam devata, then na janati. He doesn't know. The first mantra, when it did not happen, he would know and he would act, he would talk. But when during the death process, they go back towards this Sat. And he left the body. So just like a wave, when it rises, it operates for some time and then it goes. Whether it is a knowledgeable wave or ignorant wave, still it goes back to the source. But only difference is knowledgeable wave knows even when it is operating, it is water. So it remains then in the water because it is always water. So world doesn't affect it. That's the only difference. Actually, I want to read Shankara Bhashya here before we go to next mantra. We are coming to the end of the Bhagavan's Bhashya is so powerful. Sometimes it's worth highlighting some points he makes. Normally, the points I read is extra points he makes. That's called Anugraha Bhashana. Those are I focus on those. Here, Parasyam Devatayam Tejas Sampanne Athana Janati. He took from there. When the person leaves the body at that point, and body, Tejas and all that, he doesn't know. Then he explained further. Avidvantu Sapaha Utthaya Prag Bhavitam Vyagradi Bhavam Deva Manushadi Bhavam Va Vishati. The person who is ignorant, when he is born, whatever his previous thinking process, as I am a tiger, or I am a human being, or I am a daiva, in the same vishati, he goes back to that. It's just like deep sleep. Death is nothing more than deep sleep, but a longer duration. It's continuous. He takes new body. Same senses of his identification will continue, whichever level it is. But corresponding to the level of his character when he died. Vidwan too, but the knowledgeable, realized person's death, Shastra Acharya Upadesa Janita Jnana Deepa Prakashitam Sad Brahma Atmanam Pravishya Na Avartate Iti Yeshaha Sat Sampatti Kramaha. But the one who has realized the self, because of the knowledge of the Shastra and Acharya, because of which his knowledge is like light. When he enters the reality, he doesn't come because it's already there, he's already there. This is the Sat Sampatti Kramaha. This is the different order of the person who has already realized. Now he also makes some extra comment. This is Anugraha Bhashanam called. Anugraha means some extra comments for our benefit he makes. Anyetu Murdhanyaya Nadya Utkramya Adityadi Dwarena Sadgachanti iti ahuhu Tat Asat. He says some people they live through the various channels of the body and go through the Murtha, means the highest channel that goes, that penetrates through your head, the top, Utkramya, leaving through there, Adityadidvarena, they go to sun, and then from there they go to Brahman. Iti ahu. Some people say, great people like self-realized people, they go through their Sahasrara and then go to through the path of sun and then go and join Sat. That's not true, he's saying. Why? Desakala nimitta palabhisandhena gamana darshana. Because they are talking in the language of time and space. They did not realize that the time and space is concept in mind. Mind itself doesn't exist in consciousness. Mind has no reality other than you hanging on to it. So Bhagavan says, time and space come after mind. So that's not true. Any travel, they say, it is not for jnani. It is for ajnani. Some people say after death you go to Gandharva Loka or you go to heaven, you go to all that they are given, but none of them apply for jnani. Kailasha, this Vaikuntha, wherever. These are all mental creations. And then people also follow because it gives them some sense of goal. But he says none of them are real. It is only story. Because for jnani, there is no travel. Right now, you have dropped every ignorant. Desakala vyavastha. The concepts of time and space are mental. They don't have deep sleep. But those who realize it, they also transcend it while alive. Nahi sadatmaikatva darshinaha satyavisandasya desakala nimitta phaladi anrutabhisandhi upapadyate. Virodhat. For a self-realized person, this travel based upon time and space. A different location, God is there, and I want to go and meet Him there. He is lifting me from here. All this is out contrary to realization. Right now, you are liberated, infinite. You are not part space. You are the total space. And revel in it, be that, and you are that, you are done. Avidya kama karmanam cha gamana nimittanam sadvijnana hutashana vipulustatvat gamana anupavatti eva. Everything that is related to avidya, that God is somewhere else, I am here, He is looking after me, and we are three, Atma is different, I am different, and then Paramatma is different. Like this all kind of these thought processes, they are based upon avidya, kama, karma. I do not know who I am, so I have a desire, and then I perform. Then I say, all these things are based in ignorance. And it's all of them is burnt away by knowledge. Just like you don't have any individuality in deep sleep, with the eyes open, when you are awake, when you realize, you know whole thing is one. Everything arises in you, appears as vibration in you, and then you have no physical limitation, which includes space and time. Gamana anupapattihi eva. The concept of going doesn't make any sense. See, Bhagavan's bhashya is clear. Now you imagine yourself, you are that infinite bliss which you feel if you let go. That is Shiva, that is Vaikuntha, but do not have any commentary added to it. Then space and time will come. So basically, Dvaita and Advaita fundamental difference is Dvaiti always says after death something happens. Now he always has a doubt. What if it doesn't happen? Then there some people brainwash you. Some people say you are. Last week we heard you are immoral, you are illegal, you are immoral. All these things arise. All of these things happen because they tell you a Bheda Bhavana is created in time and space. The Jnana is fundamentally is different from karma. You are that now. Focus on it. Do not go after the subject. Let world pass through you. The greatness of Bhagavan Shankaracharya is when he writes commentary, Anugraha Bhashya, it is called. Anugraha means out of grace, he added these words. See, you and I would only stop with what we learned and then try to construct something in words. But he says, no, he doesn't do that. Whatever he says, he gives reference in the scriptures. That way, we actually make a lot of progress. So he gives Paryapta kamasya kutatmanasya ihaiva sarve praviliyanti kamaha iti adharvane. In Mundaka Upanishad, he gave a quotation. Everything he said extra is taken from Mundaka Upanishad, chapter 3, section 2, second verse. Since we did Mundaka Upanishad in the past, I thought it is appropriate to read that mantra, super mantra. I will read this. I just want to make sure I got the right, open the right mantra. Yes. Okay. Kamanyah kamayate manyamanaha sa kamabhirjayate tatra tatra paryapta kamasya kutatmanastu yahaiva sarve prabaliyanti kamaha. I will read it again. Kamanyah kamayate manyamanaha सकामभिर्जायते तत्र तत्र पर्याप्तकामस्य कृतात्मनस्तु यहैव सर्वे प्रविलीयन्ति कामाः. Kama means desires, physical, mental, intellectual, whatever you call it. This is projecting into future. Taking past and project into future, and then you always revel past and future. That's what it. Kamayate manyamanaha. Being attached to the mind, and then you keep on. So mind is vritti, made of vrittis. Vrittis means reflected consciousness, not pure consciousness. It is reflected through the medium of body, mind, and kamabhihi, saha, that person, kamabhihi, because of his unfulfilled tendencies, jayate tatra tatra. He is born wherever his thoughts propel him to. Paryapta kamasya kutatmanastu. The one who has that fulfillment, trupti, kutatmanastu, who has, he is fulfilled. Kutatmanaha means fulfilled. Paryapta kamasya kutatmanastu. Ihaiva sarve praviliyanti kamaha. While alive, he has dissolved all separating tendencies. Kama means separating tendencies. You imagine something in the future. If I do that, if I am not, you always think I am not complete now. then you run after the world. Then world doesn't pass through you. You pass, then you keep on creating separateness. Then Bhagavan Shankaracharya also, one more sloka he quotes, again from Mundaka Upanishad, Nadi Samudra Drushtanta Srutecha. This is Mundaka Upanishad, third Mundaka, second section, eighth mantra. I also bookmarked that. Yes. यथा नद्यः सद्यमाना समुद्रे सारी यथा नद्यः स्यन्दमाना समुद्रे अस्तं गच्छन्ति नाम रूपे विहाय तथा विद्वां नाम रूपाद् विमुक्तः परात् परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्. I will read again. यथा नद्यः स्यन्दमानाः समुद्रे अस्तं गच्छन्ति नाम रूपे विहाय तथा विद्वां नाम रूपाद् विमुक्तः परात् परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्. यथा नद्यः स्यन्दमानाः, the rivers that flow. When we did in Chandogya section 10, similar example is given. Sandamanaha samudre astam gachanti. They lose their identity. What kind of identity? Namarupe vihaya. Their individual identity like Ganges, Narmada, Krishna, Kaveri, Hudson River in America. I'm just saying. All of these are only mental, but they are essentially water. Mississippi River, Colorado River, they're beautiful names. So, what? Namarupe Vihaya. And when they merge into ocean, they are pure existence. In this context, water. Same thing, but life is flowing through us. In section 10 of this Upanishad also, we had this example given. But when we bind ourselves to that flow, thinking that is reality, that is the vritti, thoughts, ideas, that always the future and the past. Then correspondingly you get tied up. Tadha vidvam namarupat vimuktaha. Namarupa means living in the future and the past. Names and forms. Their appearances in consciousness, they are not consciousness. That person who has left the ideas of future and past and then essentially identifies himself with the true reality, he becomes peace, insecure, and eternally happy. Paratparam Purusham Upaiti Divyam. He attains that blissful presence. Bhagavan Shankaracharya quoted these two mantras. He is unbelievable. From everywhere you can, Bhagavad Gita, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and all these things. At the appropriate context, he adds certain extra because he is compassionate and kind. For our benefit, he brings out this and blinds our attention that this is not that I'm telling out of the blue. It is already, I'm recapping it here for you from that place. And he's connecting all the Upanishads like that. So next section, anyway, very quickly we can summarize what we learned today. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Person who has Guru and faith, he will learn, will realize self. But he will live in this body as long as the prarabdha is there. But he is not affected by the prarabdha. Like Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, they know it will pass. They are not complaining, I have pain. They will let it pass. And great lives, Mahatma's life, there are a lot of difficulties. They let it pass. Swami Chinmaya very often say, that will also pass. Narayan, Narayan, God will take care of. But his understanding of Narayana means right here. Shiva, Shiva, whatever it is. Then the question came, do they passing of the realized person, when the person is already detached, would you pass any differently? No. For outside people like us, the process is still the same. The physical speech and then physical mind, which communicates, they first they drop, they go into the prana. But he's still breathing, but he cannot speak, he cannot talk, he cannot communicate to gestures. Then the prana, which is breathing, maintaining vital organs, that also will leave. Then the vital organs also fall, heat in the body will slowly depart. The order is same as from Sat, fire has come, from fire, water has come, from water, Prithvi has come. Now Prithvi's finest part is Manas, water's finest part is Prana, and then Tejas' finest part is heat in the body. The reverse order, we go back to Sat. This is a proof. The way you are grassified, you go back into subtler and ungrassified verse. Okay. So in the last section, which is going we'll do next week, the question is, what is true? Dvaita or Advaita? Because Advaita teaches there are three. I am different and Jagat is different. God is there somewhere. I'm sorry. Dvaita teaches three. I am as Atma, I'm separate Jiva in this body and mind, intellect. Then the world is different. Because I separated myself, the world is different. Then I am suffering in the world, and then the Mahatma, Paramatma in the world, the universe, or Krishna, or somewhere, or Shiva, or Vishnu, he will protect me, he will keep on redeeming me. This is the Dvaita philosophy. Dvaita means dual. There's actually three in there. Advaita, basically only two are there. Two is I and Paramatma, and we are one. Eventually, it collapses into one. But transactionally, you would say, Tattvam Asi, you are that infinite. You are that existence, consciousness, bliss. So advantage of Advaita is the doubt of will it be there or not after that, that will be gone because you experience now. It has a guarantee of happiness while alive. Number two, it does not require proof because your mind can stop if you practice. And it's not rocket science. When it say you are that infinite existence consciousness, you are under this clarity dawns on you, and then you can start feeling that with Shraddha. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om